Well guys, unfortunately it's the time that we have to say goodbye to the Brass Monkey fridge. And wow, what a fridge it has been. I've had it in a couple of different cars and it's been in a whole pile of different setups. I've put it on drawers, I've tied it down, I've strapped it down to all sorts of places, seat belted it in, and wow, it has performed really well. But unfortunately it's time to upgrade to something a little bit bigger, something a bit more reliable, and we'll talk about that. And so, the Brass Monkey fridge series, I guess you could call it, that I've done on this channel has got quite a fair few views. So I figured that out of respect to the viewers, I would do one final review. So consider this the final Brass Monkey review and my final thoughts. I just want to start by thanking the new subscribers that we've had recently. So if you're one of those people, I see your names popping up all the time on the notifications that I get. So thank you. It doesn't go unnoticed. And if you haven't already subscribed, consider doing that, and we'll get started in today's video. So if you're someone that's wondering whether or not this fridge is good, and if you're looking to buy one, let me just say, if your budget is tight, get it. It is a fantastic fridge. I'll start off by saying as well, I'm not paid obviously by any companies. I'm only a very small channel, so all the stuff that I have here on this channel is purchased with my own money. So this comes from a place of, I've worked hard for my money, and this is my opinion on it. My opinion is I would buy this fridge again. It is, for the money, the best fridge you can buy. I've heard a couple of things from other companies such as Austrail, so that's often stocked in our Anaconda stores here in Australia. And I've heard some things about how, when they go down the corrugation, so really bumpy tracks, how they have not made it to the end of that track. And I tell you what, I have beat the living daylights out of this thing, and it just keeps going and going and going. And I can't say enough about it in terms of it being a very good product. But there are some things that are a little bit concerning, which is why I have ended up upgrading to a Mike Coolman fridge. So I'm not going to talk about the Mike Coolman fridge just yet, but I do want to talk about some of the things that make me a little bit concerned going forward if you do want to get this fridge, or if you are wondering the long-term reliability of it. I think it's almost safe to say that I'm probably in the top few percent of the people that have really given this a really good test on a whole pile of different roads, tracks, and long-term use as well. So I hope that the information that I give you will help you out as well. I've got a big trip coming up in the next couple months, so I'm just changing a few things around now over the next 6 weeks or so. The main reason is I'm trying to get to the Victoria High Country if everything goes well, obviously, and I can't travel that far with a fridge of this size. So I needed to get something bigger, and I decided it would be a good time to change brands, and it gives you more feedback as well for you watching at home. So one of the things, I guess, and I've got my list here to try to keep me on track, is one of the main things is the power consumption. I do worry about the insulating performance of this. The walls are very thin. If you look at even the fridge that I have now, and you look at the Dometics and that, the size of the walls of the fridge are very thick. And a fridge of, say, this size from a company like Dometic would probably be, or Mike Coolman or any other reputable brand, is going to be, the fridge itself is going to be a lot thicker. And I think a big part of the reason for that is the insulating properties. So how wide the insulation barrier, I guess you could call it, is. And on this fridge, it's not great, even to the point where I've gone camping during the summertime, which is really my first time that I've really gone camping for long periods of time anyway. So I've found that during the heat, it struggles. You try to get the fridge up to temperature after it has been off for a while, and it will take a long time to do that. You trying to keep the fridge cool as well. Even at night time, I would wake up and the fridge has just been cycling all night, and it draws around 3.5 amp. So that's amp hours. And I sometimes have woken up and it's drawn 25 to 30 amps. So that means it's pretty much been cycling all night to try and keep cool. Yeah, sure, it's hot here at night. It's been 28, 30 degrees. But I guess one of the things that worries me is that if you've only got say 30 or 40 amps of battery power, you're going to chew through that through an entire night. So that's something I'm a little bit worried about here. And one of the other things as well is I'd wake up in the morning and, I'd check all my gear or I'd get something out of the fridge, whatever, making brekkie, and there will be condensation all on the outside of it. So that's a little bit worrying as well, that, that the insulation isn't thick enough to actually, prevent some of that cool air escaping and meeting with that hot air to then form that condensation. So that's something that's a little bit worrying. And if you're someone that's got the car jam packed full of stuff and you've got condensation leaking on all of your things, and there's quite a lot of it too, that's something that obviously could cause mold and other things as well if you're not aware of that. So that's just something that I noticed, that it hasn't been handling the extreme heat conditions very well. During the wintertime, it was okay, where we're really only topping out at about early 30 degrees, and at night it's dropping down to mid-20s, early 20s. So I found that in that sort of climate, those sorts of conditions, it's been fine. But I'm a little bit worried about when it's been really, really hot, which has kind of, it's really started to get quite hot here at the moment in Cairns. So I've kind of figured, well, now's a good time to upgrade the fridge as well. Another thing, and it's not really a massive thing, but, could be annoying, and it is annoying for me, is that it's a little bit raised up here on the display. I talked about this in the last video, but that display has been lifting. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it is a little bit annoying. It does creak and carry on when you're pushing down on it, and over time I'm sure that display would separate, and then there will go all your controls as well. So that's just a little quality thing that I thought it might be of use to you, that information. So just keep that in mind as well. One of the things that really concerned me is that I tried to contact the Brass Monkey company, and I figured, well, I'm making all these videos and I'm getting quite a lot of views in comparison to what I normally get anyway on this fridge. So I thought, what, I'll reach out to them. I'll see if I can contact them. Maybe, we can do some sort of partnership or something. I can get one of their updated fridges, something like that. I just thought that it might be cool to test out a few of the different products. And, I couldn't find a contact number for them. I ended up finding actually an email for them, and I tried to send them an email, and it just bounced back straight away saying that it's not available, server's not found or something. So that's a little bit concerning, if you're trying to backtrack a company to some sort of service, or you're trying to get some sort of factory warranty claim or something out of them. I'm sure there's ways to do it, but just from my little bit of research that I did, I couldn't actually find someone to contact. Obviously, I got this fridge from Jaycar, so I'd probably take the fridge back there if I had any warranty issues. But if you're trying to get in contact with the company, it's impossible. So that's just something that I thought that might be worth noting as well. It's actually good, there's a lot of other companies like Dometic and that, where you can actually contact them and they actually have a number you can contact. So for the final part of this video, I just wanted to talk about some of the personal reasons why I'm ending up getting rid of this fridge. Some companies don't have a size that has a dual zone in their fridge freezer ranges that is under 75 litres. So my Coolman was somewhat unique in that it had a 55-ish litre fridge freezer, and it had dual zone, which actually fit my drawers and my setup perfectly. So yeah, one of the things was, unfortunately, Brass Monkey kind of had to go because I needed the better power consumption, and I also needed the dual zone in a fridge that isn't too big and heavy. The last thing I wanted to say was, in summary, I guess it's probably going to be one of the last times you'll see the Brass Monkey fridge on here. And is it a good fridge? Would I recommend it to someone who's interested in buying a fridge? Yes, I would. It is a brilliant fridge for the money. It does everything you want it to. Yeah, sure, there's issues with it. With if you have food too close to the element, the side, it freezes. There's very limited accessories for it. You can't get baskets or anything for them. Even getting things like covers and stuff for them can be tricky. There's no tie down points for them. So as you can see, I've got a couple of holes drilled into this because that's where I kind of made some little tie down points. So, it's got its problems. It's not perfect. one of the other things as well is a little bit annoying was that there's only one power section on my new fridge. I've got two, one on the front, one on the back, so it's a little bit more flexible with my setup as well. The lid only opens from the one side, so on my new fridge I can it's got a reversible lid, so that's another thing that's a little bit annoying, is that you have to have it set up in a certain orientation, so and that might not work with your setup. So say for example, you want to open the fridge from the right side of it, and and you also want to have it plugged in from the back. Well, you're going to have to rethink your setup, because that's not going to happen. The plug's in the front, closest towards the display, and it opens up from the left side of the unit. So keep that in mind. One more thing that was a little bit annoying for me too is that in here there's a little section on the right side, and it's not great. It's got I'm not sure. I'll have to check, but it might be included in the size of the fridge. It's got a little little pocket section here on the right of it, and it's about this deep, and it runs the width of the fridge. And it's part of the fridge unit, but it doesn't actually keep cool. So if you wanted to say put things like maybe even just some lettuce or whatever, I'm sure it's fine. It'll probably act as a bit of a crisper, you could say, but I don't know. I just don't understand why it doesn't stay cool on that right side. The element obviously doesn't stretch to that side, which is a bit of a worry, because if someone's thinking that, I'm going to have a nice cool drink or whatever, and they try it, not that it's big enough for that, but maybe a small drink, you put it there on the right side, it's not going to be cool at all. So I just used it as storage for spices and stuff. So again, just one of the things that Brass Monkey, you probably didn't really think too much about it when you did that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys. I think I've pretty much covered everything there is to know about this fridge in every single one of the videos I've done on this. So if you haven't seen those, go and check them out. But just in general, it's a great fridge. I have used this fridge for must be about 2 years now. It's been going very well. Yeah, it's starting to yellow and it's starting to get a bit old, and yeah, the outside dents pretty easily. You can probably see a couple of whacks I've got on it here. But, for like $300, I can't complain. It's done more than enough for the money. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this compares to my Coolman fridge, and over a long period of time to see if, if it's worth spending, what would be probably double on a different brand. So, but my opinion, guys, it's made it. It's here. It still works fine after all the abuse I've put it through. So for me, if you haven't got one and you're thinking about getting one, go ahead and get one. You won't go wrong with it. Now guys, I'm doing a video on my Prado, so that's going to be update number whatever it is now, 7 or something, and my Coolman fridge is going to be included in that Prado update video. It's going to have all the new slides I've put in there, and I've done it all on a budget, and I've all done it by myself. So if you wanted to see that, make sure you subscribe, stick around. It'll be coming out next week. So I will see you guys then.